In this video we are going to see how to create this video player using HTML, CSS and JavaScript. We will be creating it from scratch. So only we have the video, and these things are created with font awesome icon, and we have used the HTML to create the time scale, this duration and the time elapsed, the full screen and play and pause button. If you click on play, you can see there's a progress bar progressing on. If I click on some of the plays on the progress bar, the video plays accordingly. You can see, click on the end, and once the video reaches the full length, the pause icons become converts into play icon. So you can see now it's play icon. Now if you want to increase this time speed, you can see now it's running on 2x. This is very slow, 0.5 seconds, sorry, 0.5x. And now there's this, you can see the duration, it's on a slow, now it's normal. And now if you see, this is running on 2x. So this is what we are going to see in this tutorial. To follow along, I'll leave the source code in the description so that you can follow along with me. In case if you got stuck somewhere, you can just copy paste the code. That's the reason why I have placed it there. Fine. Now let's get started. So the very first thing we need is we need to open a visual code editor. So I have Visual Studio Code, and these are the steps we would be following in order to complete the process. So this is the DOM reference, and this video of the title is by Media from pixels, and this is the DOM reference we would be using every now and then. You see there are many methods and properties which is required in order to complete this process. So the very first thing we need HTML file. So before doing anything, let me open this open the folder on the Visual Studio Code. It's on the desktop. Select folder. Cool. We have HTML file, CSS file and JavaScript file, and a video that needed. And this is a text notepad which I have opened over here. We don't need this for now. Now let me create a new HTML file. I'll name this as index2.html. The second one, style2.css, and script2.js. Let me copy the HTML from there and so save time, and I'll be explaining line by line because we would be creating CSS. So let me link the CSS and the script file which I have created right now. So we don't need this for now. So we have a main container which is player. Inside the container we have the video. So this is a video, and show control is again a container. So if I scroll 70%, if I reach the cursor to 75% of the screen, you can see the show control shows up. So this show control has controls container. These control containers are divided into two sections. The first one is this play button, and the left side is play button, and the right side is the time duration. You can see the video play speed, the duration and the full screen. So if I see, this control container has the progress bar with container, and then we have control group. The control group is again divided into two, left and right. So left has only play button. We're skipping the volumes for now, and the right control has a drop down. I'm just explaining the HTML. We will be creating CSS from scratch. At that time this HTML is required where the class we have used. Cool. Now let me get into the CSS and let me call the fonts for this one. So I have used the font Railway, and the primary color is going to be gel blue, and the font color is going to be white. And for all 11, padding margin is going to be 0, and I'm making box shadow water box. Box sizing border box. What it does is it will exclude the margin and padding to the width, total width. In case if you don't understand, you can Google it and get more information about it. The concept is very deep. Now let me show you how does our HTML looks like. Copy this, paste it. We are just name it as HTML dot index.html. So this is how it looks. So let me design the body. Sorry, body. So let me make the overflow hidden so that we can remove the scroll bar on the left. So if you see, the scroll bar is gone. So whatever is there inside the content I want to be at the center. So display flex align to center, justify content center, and for the align item to work, we need to give the height 100% of vertical height. That will make whatever is inside the body, it will be at the center. So if you see, if I scroll out, all the content is at the center because of the display flex. The next thing what we need is, so the video is inside the main container called flare. Let me call this. Let me give the width of 1300 pixel, and let me give the height. Let me give the height 800 vertical height. So let me show you how it looks. In order for that to show up, what we need to do is we have to give overflow hidden. So you can see whatever is there below, it's hidden. So for now, let me uncomment this so that we can see what is below. Let me zoom out a bit. So you can see scrolls there. Now let me make position relative because the controls I will be using position absolute. That's why the parent need to have position relative. And we can give border radius of 5 pixel depending upon your will. Then what we can do is we can give border color, just border 5 pixel solid black. And then what we can do is we can make the background of the body as filtery somewhat grayish. Cool. Now if you see, the video is not taking the container height and width, so the flare has video. Let's make the width as 100% and height as 100%, so it doesn't have to stretch. So object fit cover, so it will stretch so that it completely covers the height and width of the parent. In this case, the parent of the video is flare, so this height and width will be applied. Cool. Now what we need to do is we have a control. If I get to the 70% of the screen, you can see the control shows up. It is because of this class show controls. It's here, show controls. Let me style that. Let's say position absolute. Now if you see, it will overlap on the video. Bottom 0. So the parent of this is player because position relative is applied to this. Now we can make the width of 100% and a height of 30% of the container. The height is 80 vertical edge. So if you want to see, I think it's too much. Looks like this 15, and let me give the background color just to see how long it took, how much space it took. Can again, yeah, it's okay. Let me make the opacity so that you can see through it. And of course we need to give z index 2, so it would be at the top, and cursor as pointer. So if I hover on it, it will turn into pointer. You can see that's working. And now it's time to style this control container. So just to identify, let me give the same background, and of course we need to give height and width. Let the width be 100% and let the height be 55 pixel, and it need to be position absolute, bottom 0, and whatever is there it should be as a columns, so display flex. So everything looks fine now. Now we have to make justify content space between, and I have made opacity 0. Now when I hover on the show control, this control container should have opacity 1. Hover on it to increment the opacity, and I can hover on the show control. You should see the opacity 1. Hover controls, hover, let me refresh this. So let's make this 0.5. If I hover on the show controls class, you can see it's happening. It is because of the 2-second duration. Can make this 1, but let me make the opacity as 0 and try it again. Show controls, hover on it. After 2 seconds, you can see there is a controls. So the display flex does not work because the control has progress bar and the control group, so we don't have to add display flex over here because it will cause problem. Now the control group has 2 childs, so here display flex will work. Display flex, align items, center, justify content, space sound. So let me make the opacity 1 and let me remove this. We can have black 0, opacity 5 or 9, just for our understanding. And whatever is there inside, I want the color to be white. So here is display button and we have 3 over here. So let me call the right, again display flex, space between, you got it, it's space between, and I want the space between here as well. For the control group, let's add the padding, top and bottom 0, left and right 50 pixel, and we can have a font size of 20 pixel, 25 pixel, cool. Now we have this, we can give margin top of 15 pixel, cool, that works. Now we need some space between the right column, and let the left and right have flex 1. of state between flex end and we can access full screen, time and speed. Full screen, time, speed, margin left of 15 pixel, 25, and we got this. Now you can change the padding to it. So I guess it's speed, padding, top and bottom 0, left and right 15 pixel, 25 pixel, and text align center. Why don't we give this to select? Cool. Top of 10 pixel, or let's say 8 pixel, 5 pixel. Cool, that works. Now for the progress bar, the progress range is the container, progress bar is a class, progress bar is a child. So if you refresh and check, height 8 pixel, so we want space between left and right, so 30 pixel on both the sides. Top 0, we need to give height to the control container. Which is 75, and for the control group, not for the control group, but the containers, $25, $35. Cool, that works. If you want, you can make this again. 45, so 35 was right. Now let's add some more height, and let's add padding to the progress range. Cool, that works. Now height is given, width is also given for the container. This is background color, margin, so that it appears to the center. Radius, version absolute, so this version absolute will be according to this container. Height, so by default let's make this 50% and check the width. So if you see, this is by the from the root element and with 50% because you can see this 50% is half filled. Then we have height, then we have border radius, then we have transition as we hover. Now we can add the hover, which we have removed it. Opacity 0. Refresh it by 70%. You should see the, if I take it away, in 2 seconds it should go. So I think that we need to reduce the duration. .2 seconds. So the CSS part is done. Now it's time for the JavaScript work. Let's start working on the JavaScript. The very first thing we need to reference all the HTML element in the JavaScript. So we are going to call individual element like the progress range, progress bar, play control into the JavaScript without wasting time. Let me just copy paste it because we have done it on the. You can see there's a player, there's a video, there's a progress range, progress bar, play button, video icon, video range. We are not using volume here. Speed, current time, duration, and full screen. Now, when I click on the let me show you the example. When I click on this button, it pauses and plays. That's what we are going to do now. So to achieve that, it's very simple. So create a function, play video. So now if the video element is paused, if it is paused, then play the video. Else pause the video. So we can say this as toggle video. So this function should get triggered when I click on the play button. Play button is already called here. Play button without add event listener. So once I click on the button, I want this function to get executed. Let's see how does it works on our example. Play, pause. Let me mute this. Play, pause. So that's working. The second thing is, once it got ended, you can see the button need to get converted from play to pause again. Let me have this here. Now it's pause. Once it's end, it gets converted to play. So how it's happening? Because we have a event called ended. So again, when the video is ended, call the function called change btn. So before that, once I click on the button, it should convert to pause. It's not happening. How we are going to do that? Call the play button dot class list dot replace. We are replacing. Let me properly close the semicolon. At present it is play. Replace this play with pause. The same way, replace pause with play. So now, so you can see it's working. The same way, let's add this to a function. Show icon. Create this function. And we can have the replaced button over here. Pause, play. We cannot see that unless we make the progress bar work. So let this be in the end. Now we have to update the progress bar. To update the progress bar, we have two different functions, and we'll create a function called update progress. So the first will be triggered when the time is updated. So this will be automatically called by the browser. The second one is can play. When the browser starts playing video, this function will be running. And to get the duration, you can see current duration and the total duration, we have that as well. So duration, duration, so duration This will return this in seconds, and uh, the one word which is current time. So this will be using it. So let me create this first function. So console dot log video dot duration comma video dot current time. So let me check on the console. Refresh it. Change button is not defined. Where is change button? Okay. Let's show icon. Refresh it. Console. Let's try playing it. So you can see this time update is running every second. So this is the total duration, which is 10 seconds, and the current time, it's getting incremented on every seconds. So not every second, it's running 5 times per second. Cool, we got that. Now we need to convert this second into minutes. Let's see how to do it. So before doing that, let us just update the progress bar. So we got the duration and current time. Let's just divide it with let's just divide it and get the value in percentage, so that we can give them to the progress bar. So progress bar width is 0 at present, sorry, 50% at present. Let me make it 0. So it's 0 by default. Let us change progress bar dot style dot width equal to, we want this to be in percentage value. So use the template literal, the vectic template literal, the current time divided by duration properly calculated into 100. So this will get a value. Instead of writing this in this way, what we'll do is we take the backtick and the colon. We don't need this here. So divide the value, multiply by 100, close the template literal, and add the percentage. Let's try it. Play. You can see the progress bar is getting updated, and that's working as we thought. Now it's time to display the time. So let's create a function, display time. Let's pass 72 seconds, because we'll be getting the duration and current time in seconds. I'm passing 72, that means 60 plus 12 seconds, 1 minute and 12 seconds. So let's create this function, display time. We are getting the seconds value, or we'll just name it as time. So let's get a const value called minutes, and let's to get the seconds to minute, we'll divide the time with 60. So we'll get this in minutes. So we'll get this in point values. So it converts it into a rational value. That means without point. So math.floor will do the work for it. Now let's get seconds. Again, we need the reminder now. If it is 60, 72 divided by 60 is, you'll get the reminder. So 61 are 60, 62, 61s are 60, and 72 minus 60 is 12. So we'll get the reminder as 12. So that is the second. We're getting this by having the module sign divided by 60. Again, to escape from the decimal value, we'll use math.floor. Now let's display the seconds. So right now the seconds start from 0, 1, 2, 3, but our format is 0.01, 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3 till 9. So we'll use ternary operator here. Second, if second is greater than 9, then just display the second, or let's use the template literal, add 0 to the seconds and just store the value in the second itself, and finally return this second, return sec. So let's just console this and check. Console dot log. So let's see what we are getting. Let me remove all other console. Play this. On line number 30 there is an error. Close this, close it down bracket. Play the video. So there seems to be an error. We return this in the format in such a way like show the minute first, then we'll add this over here, then so the second, this second needs to be inside the template literal string. Sorry for that. Bin second, yes, let's check. Oh, we have to display 72 here. We have to pass 72 here. So now let me play this. We're getting 1 minute and 12 seconds. That's what we need. Now what we do is just update the time here. So we have current time dot text content. In case if you are wondering what is current time is simply the elapsed time. You can see time elapsed and time duration. So current time and duration. Current time dot text content equal to, use the template literal and pass the function, and we need to insert video dot current time function, the property, and then we have duration, and pass the duration. Let's save this and check this. Duration, duration. So you can see 10 seconds and it's working as we thought. except the slash is missing over here. Before closing the template little and play this. Now you got it. Let's add some space. Cool. Now the final thing, when I click on the progress bar, the time should update automatically, and the progress bar width also need to be adjusted accordingly. And now for that we need to add a listener to the progress range, because it's the container. Progress range dot add event listener, which is going to be click, and we can give the name as update bar. Let's call this function and pass the event to it. Here we would be calculating so much. Console dot log, just pass the e and show you what we're actually going to do. Close this, play the button. So if I click on the first and if I click on the last, you will see two different events. And now on the event we need to find offset x. So it's displayed as the alphabetical order. A B C D E F G H I J K L M N O P Q R. Offset x is 0, and let's check this one, and offset x again here is 12. So what it means, starting from 0 and ends on 12, and along with the offset you will find the source element. Again you will find offset width, offset width, you can see offset width. So we are getting offset width and offset height. So e dot offset x and e dot the progress range, which is the source element, dot offset width. Let's try this. Click here, click in the middle. Offset width is not found. Since it's source element, you can directly access this way. Plate. So you are getting the portion and the total. Now we can divide this and get and add this value to the progress bar. So the same way, offset width divided by offset, we'll get this in percentage. Let's try. So we can click it, but it's not updating the time. To update the time we have a function for that. The current time not only shows the current time, we can update video dot current time as well on clicking on it. It is fine, you can see. Refresh. Oh, we have to set this value. I totally made a blunder mistake. So get the new time. So let's get a value, even new time equal to, you can get the divided value, and new time multiply by video duration. Let's try it. You can see we are able to update it, the current time based on our click. So fine, this is what we want here. We can pause it. Now changing the video speed is very simple. We have to add an event listener called change on the drop down. So if you see, we have a drop down here. I'm calling this drop down, which is select option. So when I click on change, when I make a change, this function will run, and we can simply assign the value. Fee dot value will give you the selected value, and we have to assign it to the video dot playback speed. If you see, you'll get the value here. Set or return the speed or audio of the playback. Let me press this, play the video. Let's make this very slow. Let's make this 2x. So that's working. This is now 2x. This is now very slow. Fine. Finally, the full screen option. So, if an option, what the school has it. How to full screen W3 school? Just search for it. Just copy paste the code from here. And here we have to pass the element. So now we have to toggle function toggle full screen. We'll create a variable called full screen. Full screen is false by default. If we'll create a condition, if this is false, we have to make this outside. Now let's call this function when I click on the button. So on the event listener, when I click on the full screen, this full screen toggle should work, and we have to pass the video. Cool, everything seems perfect. Make this full screen. You can see it's working as we thought. Play the video in full screen mode. You can see you can't see the bottom because it will be eliminated because of the video, because of the screen recorder I'm using. Press escape. Play it again. Toggle to full screen. Escape. Full screen. Escape. So that's working. That's all for this video. Thank you so much for listening.